Post-Tribulation Belief Part 11. Romans 7:23, Timothy 3:5. The antediluvian age was known as those of Noah's days when there was no king. Satan was the first king and in control over men's minds, leading the antediluvian race by spirit into self-righteousness and nature worship. They may have had a form of godliness, but denied the true power thereof. From the era of Babylon to Rome, there was only one evil king at a time who had control over Israel. These are the other four kings unto which Satan had transferred his power over unto. The second one, Babylon; the third, Persia; fourth, Greece; and then fifth, Rome. Prophecy also showing how Satan manifested himself in the king of Babylon, dethroning the Israeli king who was appointed by Yahweh. Revelation 17:10, Daniel 7:4-7. These are the seven kings, 5 are fallen. First, the antediluvians, which have been since Adam. Second, Babylon. Third, Persia. Fourth, Greece. Fifth, Rome. And one is. But who is? Since Christ was given powers over heaven and earth, Satan the king was cast down into the pit and hasn't come to his complete end yet. He still is, since death yet remains. Revelation 17:3 and chapter 12:3. The whore is Satan's mother, the evil church, and is in control of the beast and steers the beast. The beast and the W are both one, as a wonder in heaven. The W is not Satan, but is yet equal to the beast, and is still a wonder alone without her beast. Being that Satan had been restrained in 33 AD, and the other is not yet come, which is the return of Satan, the seventh, from the pit in 1033 AD, and the transformation of the Antichrist, the eighth, in the latter days. John 12:31, Revelation 17:10 and chapter 26. When Jesus brought forth life from the dead, it was now that the judgment of this world took place, and the prince of this world was cast out sometime around 33 AD. According to my teachings, Satan was bound for 1,000 years at that very moment in time. The seventh king is Satan, who has been unbound since the era of the Crusades and is ready to finish the last 1,000 years as king. Revelation 17:10 and chapters 12:12 and 20, 3 and 6:11. This so-called 1,000-year period is his short space, short time, or little season. This same little season is the same period of time in which those who were in the grave were given white robes by Christ, to whom it was told that they should rest until their brethren were killed also, and appear all together at the judgment. Revelation 12:13-9. Please take note that before the prince Satan can come back, he must first be cast back unto the earth, as he was at about 1033. Being that he was first cast into the earth at 33 AD, be aware of how you read it, because unto and into have two different meanings. For more details, please listen to the 1,000-year reign series. Revelation 24:6, after Satan is released, he will never reach 2030. The doomsday prophecy Big Bang theory. So his imaginary 1,000 years will never be fully completed, being only 988 plus somewhat years until his little season is up. I say this because according to the scriptures, there are 2,000 years which follow after the disciples were given power. First 1,000 years, and verse 6 is second 1,000 years. I also teach this 2,000-year timing period due to the fact that so many prophecies have been fulfilled thus far. John 14:30, Revelation 6:14, Job 2:1, Revelation 12:8, Hebrews 9:23. Jesus once said, "Hereafter I will not talk much with you," 1033 AD, 2033, "for the prince of this world cometh and hath nothing in me." I believe that once the heavens departed like a scroll, it was at this time that Jesus' authority over earth had been limited, although he remained God's Son in heaven. Only the Father knoweth what time he will reopen the gate, so the Son can enter therein and gather his bride. At Satan's return, he was no longer allowed to enter before the throne room, as he did in the days of Job, neither was there found any more place in heaven for him, being that the heavens were purified by Christ himself. Revelation 12:17, Hebrews 7:28. After the first 1,000 years were finished, Satan was released. It was then when the whore sat back on her beast, sometime about 1033. Satan's main objective now was to hinder God's calling in our lives and the remnant's faith in order to redeem back to himself this worldly kingdom and defeat Yahweh's promise of redemption. Satan equals the beast of the whore, Satan is he who has set war against the remnant, me and you, polluting our minds in desire of will-wanting things, confusing unlearned and unstable souls within the twixt balance of nature concerning our infirmity which maketh high priest. People today are ungodly men with no one king to rule over them as Israel did years before. Satan, who is the seventh king, has been released from the pit and is in control of men's minds again, as he was in the days of the antediluvians. Today men have no king to rule over them. That form of government was a historical, systematic rulership. Revelation 15:5-8 and chapter 17:11. The nations today have developed a great rebellious nature, symbolic to when they were freed from Egypt by Moses and walked in the wilderness for 40 years. Therefore, today on earth there must be a recircumcision back into Christ, symbolic to that at Gilgal which was done by Joshua. Symbolic theology remarks, the temple of the tabernacle, one must first pass into heaven in order to inherit the testimony therein, symbolic to being recircumcised from flesh to eternal spirit. When the New World King takes control of leadership under the New World Order, symbolic to that of the days of Babylon, this kingdom will become a spiritual Babylon. The Antichrist will be known as the eighth king, which is of the seventh. Revelation 18:2. Again the transferring of power will take effect one last time from the seventh to the eighth king, as it did from the first king which ruled an antediluvian nature spirit-filled world like today, unto the second king, the king of Babylon, which today will be the spiritual Babylon. The Antichrist and the mark of the beast, RFID chips ready to undergo operation to control minds through frequencies. For Babylon, the great will fall by fire.